I am so glad you decided to join us today. This is the Words for Life podcast, where we share perspectives, principles, and testimonies that will positively impact your life. Welcome to episode 18, and I'm your host, Terrence Farrell, aka T Farrell. And before we get started, I'm going to ask you to like and subscribe. Liking it, that's for us, boosts our ratings. Subscribing is for you. So next time you want to check out some positive content, it'll already be in your subscriptions. Words for Life will already be there. Also, before we get started, wanted to let you know about Be More Today's virtual 5K run. Now, we're approaching the new year, 2021, and we're going to kick it off with a virtual 5K. That's only 3 miles. You could run it, you could walk it. We're going to have my partner in Prospect Park. If you want to do it with a crew, we're going to mask up, social distance. Or if you want to do it virtually, you find your own 3 miles, you can make that happen. And we got some swag. We give you a t-shirt. There's a gator that comes with it when you register. So if you go to BeMoreToday.com, it's going to be hot. The t-shirts are hot. BeMoreToday.com. You'll be able to register for the run. Start off the new year right. Also, if you don't have the book, the Be More Today book, 40-day guide to a better version of you. That's what we're kicking it off with. So that's going to be nice. That's going to be nice. Wanted to let you know about that. Now, my special guest today is a good friend of mine. He's a drummer as well. If you didn't know, I'm a drummer, and his name is Lonnie Christian. Now, I know a lot of drummers out there, and this guy, when I find myself in certain situations, and I let him know this before, and it's like, oh man, what should I do? I always think of like, what would Lonnie do? What would Lonnie do? Not that this guy is like, the best I've ever heard, but he's got a pocket that I love. He's got a personality that goes along with it. He's anchored in God. And so I wanted to bring him on, talk a little bit about his journey through life and let it encourage you. So without further ado, Lonnie Christian, how you doing, bro?
What's up, man? Glad to be here. Honored to be here. I appreciate that introduction. Especially coming from a fellow musician, drummer, producer, blah, blah, that knows music himself. So for you to look to me or to even express yourself or your feelings towards me that way, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah. No problem. It's real. It's real love, man.
Of course.
A lot of times you find, musicians that are just like, oh, I can't wait till they step off so I can get on. And this, I never felt that with you. I mean, it's always just been like, if I can't be there, if I could get you on, I'll get you on. If not, we still cool. Yeah. And it was just, it was really nice to build a friendship with you.
The way it should be.
Yeah, pretty much.
The way
pretty much. Be. So I always like to start off with this question. It's real open-ended, and it lets you just go, who is Lonnie Christian?
How much time you got? Well, just a little bit of background. My name, Lonnie Christian Jr. I'm a junior. I'm a native of New Jersey. A lot of people don't know that. They think I'm a New Yorker because I've been here so long. Mm-hmm. I was born in Newark, raised in Plainfield, New Jersey. I come from churchy parents. My father's a pastor, preacher, and my mom is a singer. And I have a older sister, Tamara. And basically, man, in a nutshell, I came up, a lot of drummers have the same story. Around 4 years old, They started playing. And at the church we attended, my mom, they had older, like you had to earn your way to play. You couldn't just play. So you had to older guy playing who had his drum set. And there's a picture floating somewhere around. My mom, around 4 years old, she wanted me to play at the church, but they weren't having it. So I had drums at home. So Pearl Christian decides to bring my drums to church and plop them right in front of the drummer. So it's me, a 4-year-old, and I guess an 18-year-old guy is playing another kid. And so, you know, I just started playing. Like, I don't remember life without drums. And I mean, we could get more into that, you know.
Yeah.
As we go. I'm a husband. I'm a father of one child, my daughter, Shalana, my wife, Charlotte. I mean, I could go in so many different directions, man. You ask and I'll answer. But basically, I enjoy music. I enjoy connecting. I enjoy learning. I enjoy growing. You know, it could go, like I said, it could go on and on. It's very simple, though. I'm just a guy that loves music and loves to laugh and hang out.
Right. No, I definitely in interacting with you, I see all of that. The love for not only music, but just for hanging out and just being loose with it. Like living life, you know.
Yeah, because I don't think we should take ourselves too seriously, you know. I mean, it's a ton of musicians, it's a ton of everything. So why are we so uptight, you know?
Right.
And just relax.
Right. Pretty much. So now my other question is, when did you know that drumming was going to be a career for you? When did it move from like hobby or it's the fun thing to do, I love it, into, you know what, I'm going to feed my family or I'm going to support myself with this?
Okay. It's always kind of been a buildup. Like I said, I started playing at 4 in church, and then through the teenager years, I just always loved to play. I was fortunate to do my first recording project, a live recording project at 18. And that was a lot of pressure. Yeah, because as you know, playing live, it is what it is.
Right.
Especially back some years ago. It was no editing. Whatever you played, you know. And so around 19 or so, I came to my dad one day and I said, there's this Baptist church that's offering me a little bit of money to come over and play. And so I think I kind of want to do something else, because I came from humble beginnings, man. Like, there was services where I was the only musician. So you had hand clapping, foot stomping, and drums. And I've always wanted to progress.
Oh, no keys, no nothing?
No, bro.
Oh, wow.
I'm like the only musician.
Wow.
And so over time, you know, I just wanted to play and learn. And so this church, I shout them out, Shiloh Baptist Church, Wendell Woods, minister of music in Plainfield, New Jersey. He saw something in me and he brought me on. And it started growing from there. At that church, there were no drums. They never had drums in their church. So I was the first, and my introduction at that church was, the pastor said, we're going to try this out for a little while and see how this works out. And I'm like, geez.
No pressure, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I ended up staying there 10 years. So thank God.
That's what's
so
up.
Yeah. So as time is going on, I'm going through different things. I get married, I move. So I'm commuting from New York to New Jersey every day. And my job's in Jersey. I would come home. I would pick up the car, because the wife and I, we were sharing one car at the time. Pick up the car, go back to Jersey to do rehearsals till 12, 1 in the morning, go back home, sleep, get up at 6, go back to work.
Yeah.
And it was like a volleyball effect. And so what happened was I was starting to get calls, and the gigs and the work, I was making more money than I was doing the 9 to 5.
Right.
I'm like, this isn't making sense. And so I'm having to call out because rehearsals are during the day, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And so time went on, and I just thought about it, and I said, I think I'm going to take the plunge. So my first real push out was I did the Harlem Gospel Singers, a tour for 3 months straight over in Europe. And that kind of started the whole career.
Right.
In terms of full-time musician.
Okay. Yeah. Now your quote unquote career has blossomed, and you've been in some pretty blessed situations. You've played for Donnie McClurkin. I love the Tunesha Crispell joint.
Classic.
Yeah, that's a classic joint. You're endorsed by, who's it, Regal, and also
Regal tip drumsticks.
Yeah.
Pepsii cymbals.
Yes.
Drum dots.
Oh yeah, I forgot about drum dots.
Yeah, big fat snare drum.
Nice.
And I'm praying and hoping for drum heads and drums.
Nice.
Tama, Evans, hello. Gotta put it in the atmosphere, right?
Right. So I mean, you've gotten to some where other musicians wish they can get. What do you feel like your keys to success have been?
Consistency, personality. We'll go back, the endorsements you mentioned. All those endorsements, man, came from my relationships with other people. Nat Townsley got me, made the introduction for me to Pepsii. Mind you, I had called him just to cover me for a gig.
Right.
It was nothing. It had nothing to do with him,
Right.
Connecting me. Alesis Bim Owens connected me to Regal Tip. So relationships are important, man. And people don't really want to be bothered with you if your personality is a certain way, no matter how gifted you are.
Right.
So in terms of that, I feel relationships have played a part. Making my family a priority has played the...
Really?
Well, yeah. As musicians, we spend a lot of time creating, doing music, rehearsing. It's a lot of time. We get locked in, we could lose 10 hours.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
And I've learned if you put your family first, making sure they're good. Hey, how's everything? Just regular conversation, talking with your wife or dealing with your kids, and not making them feel less than. They become very supportive. So now you don't have a distraction like, man, I'm trying to do this music and my house is falling apart.
Right.
And so for me, that all helped play a part with being more successful, because when it's time to do music, I'm able to focus. And it just comes down to that, man, tenacity, like all the things. I read a lot of books, and successful people tend to have the same ingredients. Being consistent, failing forward, meaning failing, but still getting up, because failing is part of the process of succeeding. Our society teaches us just to be number one. They don't teach us how to cope with if we don't make it to number one. So a lot of people their idea hits the ground and then they say, forget it. I'm not doing that again. Oh, it must have been dumb, or it's people hate me, or, things start playing in your head, and it takes time. It's a process. Mm-hmm. So for me, mainly, man, consistency. Mm-hmm. And that's with whether you're practicing, working on your craft, or even with your family.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the other keys that you said that a lot of people, I mean, they say relationships, but they don't work on relationships. They say relationships and they just stick to like the 4 or 5 people that they're close with, and and my music. And when I get that good, people just gonna get me, and they just gonna put me here and they put me here. And I think 2 things you said are so key: relationships and family, because when you working with a monkey on your back,
yeah, bro, it's not gonna happen, bro. It's not gonna happen, and you can't be your best.
Right.
And I also think it's in God's order. I mean, family was first. Mm-hmm. And so you switching and putting this, and it's just, I've seen it crumble so many times. And not because the person isn't talented or gifted.
Right.
It's just their priorities.
Right.
And, like you're saying with relationships, man, like, it's okay to reach out to a guy, not have a gig, Terrence, can you engineer? Can you make, nah, bro, you good? What's going on? How's the kid? How's the wife? Yo, cool. Yo, man, I was just thinking about you. That keeps a certain kind of energy. Happening,
Yeah. That's key. That's so key. I'm glad you shared that. I'm really glad you shared that. I also want to touch on, and it happens with everybody, I believe. Mm-hmm. We typically have this moment in life where it kind of shifts our direction for the rest of our life. Like it's this major moment. It could be mental. It could have been, something that actually happened. And I wanted to know if you could share one of those moments, something that strongly impacted the direction of your life.
Okay. Man, I have a ton of stories, but I'll be transparent because I think people need to hear. At a time, I was successful in doing my thing, and I was on the road. I was actually touring with Chubby Checker, bro. The guy, the rock and roll legend, the Twist. Like, I don't know. God always had me doing like other stuff when everyone was going after the R&B situations or whatever, the popular gigs. I ended up with something else. So I'm on the road, and like we were constantly like working in and out. I have a young daughter at home, my wife, we're living in Brooklyn. Wife's upset because she's having to go back and forth to Long Island to work, to Brooklyn. And so stress was just building. Mm-hmm. So it came down to maybe you need to get, a job. And so you're around more. So I thought about it, and I said, you know what? I have to do it because my family's suffering, from me not being around. So I enrolled, man, into becoming a certified nursing assistant. And so, like, I was all in. I'm getting on the train with white scrubs and like, I hated it, but it was something I'm like, I have to do. And I said, people always need help in the nursing homes or in the hospital arena. So I'm like, this is going to work out. This always work. I do the CNA certification and training. I'm getting A's in class. Probably my first A's ever. I'm getting A's in classes, doing my thing. So as time goes on, I'm realizing, looking for jobs, these temp agencies were taking the bulk of the money. So if they were paying $20 an hour, you were only getting $7, $8. And I'm like, what? I'm breaking my back to do these things. And I'm like, this isn't making sense. This isn't making sense. So I'm losing money, not making money. And so along the way, man, I used to play blackjack. Mm-hmm. So gambling a little bit, make a little extra money, do this and do that. And so to supplement income, man, I was running back and forth to Atlantic City, put money on the table, get $500, $800, bring it home, take care of bills, this and that. Because I'm like, I can't do the CNA thing. My wife's upset. This ain't working out. It was so much going on. Right. And I'm pulled in so many directions. One day, man, I'm down in Atlantic City. I'm at a blackjack table. So the deal is, you know, they switch in and out every so often. The dealer comes on. He's dealing cards. He says to me, man, why are you sitting here? And I mean, the game is going on, but it's like it's a conversation with him and I. And I'm like, why is this dealer talking to me like this? It's his job to deal cards, try to get my money or I get his money. Why is he concerned about why am I sitting there? Why are you sitting down here, man? Wasting your time at this table when you should be working on something for yourself. He said, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, millionaires don't gamble their money at a blackjack table. Dude, he's saying this. Wow. It felt like a light was shining down on me on the table. And I knew that was a God moment. Mm-hmm. And so I left the table and that feeling was on me. And I'm on the bus heading back to New York. And I'm just like, I said, God, if I'm supposed to be doing something else, you have to show me now. Because, like, dude, everything was just bad. I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing, and it's just not working out. I get home, I think the next morning, the phone rings. Lonnie, we need you to do this tour. This tour is 4 months. Blah, 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 blah. Rehearsals start, this and that. And at that moment, man, I felt a lot of things just shift. Mm-hmm. You know, some people look for thunder to roll and lightning to flash when they think it's a word from God. But God always deals with me in very practical forms and talks where he knows I can't doubt. Mm-hmm. This is him or this is me talking to you, dummy. Like, do this, do that, stop it, knock it off. And that just changed the direction, man, for me. So basically, I went back to what basically I felt I was called to do, which was make music. But at the time, I'm trying to please everyone else. I'm trying to do something else. And then when times get hard, I take it upon myself. I'm going to do it my way. So I'm going to gamble or whatever, and I'm going to make this happen. And that moment just turned my whole, I guess, gave me a different way of looking at, like, appreciating your gift. Right. And also trusting God. You know, because I came up, you know, you play, you this and that, that's what it is. And then there's that fork in the road when you finally hit a moment like, yo, what is my purpose? And I felt that moment really redirected me. Even though I had come from that path, it put me back on the right path, but gave me more passion. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that was a moment, man, like, it was a lot going on and a lot going wrong, and God showed up and it changed me. And from that point on, things just kept going up.
That's I'm glad you shared that. I'm glad you shared that, because a lot of times when things shift or things aren't working out right,
Right.
it's easy to go, all right, you know what? I'll just put this down. I'll go get the 9 to 5, or I'll do what everybody else says I should do, because obviously this might be a fantasy of mine.
Right.
And you stop thinking about it as, I think God called me to do it. And then you start second guessing.
Right.
Maybe God didn't call. Maybe it's me that wants to do this. Maybe I got it wrong or
Right.
whatever, because it's taking long.
Right. And see, that's part of it. Like, there's a process, and then there's highs and lows. With everything we do, there's going to be, peaks and valleys, ebb and flow. And so, yeah, man, I mean, going back some years ago when I was about 10, 11 years old, and I was playing at a church one time down in the South, and I'm playing these what were tempo blocks, and people praising God, dancing, shouting. And the pastor came over to me and he spoke a word. He said, "You're going to be paid for your gift." Now I'm 10, 11 years old.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, whatever. Okay. Pulls out of his wallet. Now, this is in front of the whole church, bro.
Mm-hmm.
In front of the whole church, pulls out his wallet. He takes out a $5 bill, gives me the $5 bill. So I'm like, whatever. Go back. This is North Carolina. Get back to Jersey. Nobody knows the story but me and my mom, because we were the only ones there.
Right.
The musician at my home church started paying me $5.
Wow, the same amount.
Yeah. And so, like I said, these are like little things.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, as a 10, 11-year-old kid, he's speaking a word, but I'm like, whatever. And so as time goes on and I look back at how my career
right.
and lifestyle has been, like, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like what you're saying, am I doing the right thing, or is this the right path? Because a lot of times we challenge these things because no one else in our family may have done it.
Right.
Or you were taught, hey, when you get out of school, you go get a job. Hopefully you get a house with the fence and the wife and the kid, and you go to church and you love God and call it a life.
Right.
No one's really pushes, you should be an entrepreneur, start your own, pushing you. So, yeah, man, you get that a lot of, like, is this right? Nah, I must be wrong. They told me I shouldn't do this. All my friends are doing that. I should be, so yeah.
Yeah. So now let me ask you this. With everything that goes on, because when you're out on the road and when you hear, as a musician, as a church musician, you hear tons and tons of sermons, and a lot of times, or for me, I got desensitized. Like, you're not gonna tell me about Elijah one more time. Like, I heard about Samuel.
Right.
I know Joseph. I got it.
Right.
He went to his brother's solo. How do you stay spiritually energized?
Man, that's interesting that you said that, because those I don't like the word character, because when we talk Bible, character kind of lends to, like, made up stories.
Right. Yeah.
I'll say these people of the Bible, or the Bible in general, for me to stay energized, I go back and research, but I use the practical side of my brain. Because for me, if it's practical and I can see it in, say, an everyday life, the connection is so much deeper versus me just reading a passage and just taking it how I was brought up. Like you said, you hear the same. How many times can we hear, like, David was a great musician? And
right, yeah.
Like, how many times? But then when you say David was just like me, and God still had his hand on them,
Mm-hmm.
then like your brain starts to do something different. And so now when you read those words, you kind of can put yourself in that position and say, oh, so this isn't a mystical kind of, this guy was just like, and so that keeps me connected, man. I'm trying to research scripture and make it practical or make it useful
Right.
every day.
Okay. No, that's key. That helps out a lot. That's something that I think I'm gonna start doing a little bit more. I think you just helped me out on that one as well.
Yeah, man.
I mean, because
it's like we reading Chinese,
right? Or it's like, yo, this is the same thing I read when I was 18.
Right,
like,
I know that.
There's nothing here. There's nothing left here.
Yeah, that's, I think, and the way you are, from me knowing you, I think if you just break it down practical, into a practical sense,
right.
You'll be like, oh man, this is what it is. And then you get excited all over again. It's the same story.
Right.
But as life goes on, words mean something different to you. I used to hear when I was coming up, thank you, Lord, for keeping me clothed and in my right mind. Dude, I didn't know what that, I was like, what? Oh, okay, that's just something you say.
Right.
Now?
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, dude.
That right mind part?
Yeah,
especially, man, like you see, and no frown on mental illness or mental challenges. I had a pastor say he's seen cancer, he's seen all kinds of illnesses, but mental illness, he said, it's something else, man. Right, and so these words now, as you get older, it means something, totally different. So yeah, man, that's how I kind of energize and stay, interested.
Yeah. No, that's key. That's key, because once that gets stale and you get numb, you definitely start going. You go sideways, and it doesn't end up right. Because like I always say, you could be better by yourself, but you can only be your best with God. And once that thing starts getting blurry, or it's like, whatever, you're on the wrong road.
Facts.
Yo, dude, as we, I appreciate you, man. I really appreciate you taking out the time. As we come to the end of it, let people know how they could support or how they can link up with you. I don't know if you're a social media dude.
Yeah, it's real easy, man. Look me up, Lonnie Christian on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Look up Line Grooves on Instagram. Line Grooves, LONGROOVES. I'm real easy to hit. Look me up on YouTube, Lonnie Christian. Subscribe, follow me, message me, whatever. I'm very open to connecting. And if I can help you or even direct you in a way, I will.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
Cool. Definitely, man. Any final advice, final thoughts you want to share?
Advice, yeah. For the older guys, keep evolving. Don't stop. When you're not growing, you die. And when you're not growing, sometimes you become bitter. And that bitterness then gets taken out on the younger generation because they're trying to progress. Let them do their thing. Encourage them. They're not going to do it like you did it or I did it or we did it. But you didn't do it like the guys before you. It's just a cycle. Younger guys, younger people, I should say, try and find someone that can help mold you. So you can learn and be mentored. take the praise and the criticism the same way. And you'll know if someone is really, really, embracing and trying to help you move along. And just stay consistent.
Yeah.
Keep pushing. Stay consistent. Progress takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. Just keep pushing.
Like that. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna tag on with that as well. I was playing for Michael Levias Williams one time. I think I was 17. Rob Robinson was the musical director, and we're going, and Rob was on me. He was on me. He was like, "No, you ain't got to do a fill every other measure. This and that." He was just riding me. And I'm 17, I'm 18, and everybody's like, "Yo, dude, you're phenomenal as a drummer, before this gig." And I'm like, "Yo, I don't need this. Yo, I'll pack up my junk. Yo, he don't know. Yeah, I could play circles around like everybody I know." And the percussionist was an old dude. He was like, "Yo, be quiet, sit there, learn." Yeah. And I'm like, "Nah, man. Yo, he don't even know me." He's like, "No, just learn. Take the A." He's the one that kept me on that, because I was gonna grab my stick bag and walk out. Like, you don't talk to me like that. And it's just, he told me to stay there. Old dude. He was like, "No," he's the percussionist. And I stayed, I did the gig, and I learned how to give people what they want, not what I want to do. And that was one of my first lessons, but it was humbling. It's just because it's like, I felt he was talking to me wrong, and maybe he was, but there was still a lesson in it.
Yeah.
So
and you gotta have tough skin, because, like you're saying, sometimes the presentation isn't good, and then there's no other way to say it.
That's true. It's true.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, and so you can't take things personally. You have to say, or at least hear them out and evaluate. What's this saying? Chew the meat, spit out the bone.
Right.
So yeah,
because I was doing a roll every other measure. I was.
But look at you. Look at the flip. You become a producer.
Yeah.
And that could have been a seed that helped your ears to open up, and also your attitude, because you have to detach. When you're in certain chairs, okay, this isn't maybe what I would do, but if this is what they want,
right.
And so you have to have that servant's heart, and just kind of get it done. And so that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah, it does. Everybody has a point where somebody's gonna, try to aggressively, determine where you're going to go or correct you to make you better. And sometimes it's a tough pill to swallow.
Right.
Yeah. But again, Lonnie, I want to thank you. Thank you for taking out the time.
Yo, man, I appreciate this, man.
Yeah, I know this is going to help somebody. I definitely know this is going to help somebody. Again, this airs every Wednesday. So check us out, like us, subscribe. It's the Words for Life podcast. We're attached to Be More Today as well. And again, remember, you could do better by yourself, but you can only be your best with God. I'm out.